Yeah. What's up? What is going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to you out there.
It's popping.
Popping. Pop locking. Ooh. This is going to be a good one.
Let's keep doing it. Let's go.
What's happening, everybody?
What's happening, everybody? Yes,
Let's
exactly.
Get ready, Michael. Let's get
What's happening in the Brooniverse?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it. Yeah. Ian's already here.
Oh, yeah.
Bubble Pug's already here. Kevin Lyon in the chat and here, which is amazing.
Hey.
It's an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. Right. An accomplishment to show up at 6:30. Yeah.
Yes.
Pacific time.
Pacific, yes.
Yeah, I'm 3 hours early in Hawaii, so that's great. You know.
Hey, Chad M, long time no see.
Right.
Thank you for joining. A secret benefactor.
I know. I need my base. Where's my bat
OG.
mug? I don't have it right here with me.
Yeah, thanks, Chad, for joining.
For tonight.
He hopped on at the beginning for our beer baseball excursion. So thank you so much, Chad, and we really appreciate seeing you here. So let's get into it.
All right.
Let's do it. I'm going to add that. That's what I got to do. Hey, welcome to another Tuesday night. This is the weekly Baseball Brew Crew podcast. This is episode 130. We've been doing it 130 weeks straight. And we couldn't be happier to do this every Tuesday, talking about craft beer and baseball. We are a little bit country. We are a little bit lock and lull, keeping baseball history alive, one craft beer at a time. Wherever you are watching us live today, please give us a like and a follow. Let us know that you're out there. And if you love beer with your baseball, please tell a friend. Some housekeeping before we start. We have a Patreon, and if you like what we're doing here at the Baseball Brew Crew, consider becoming a Patreon supporter. You can become a Patreon supporter for as low as $5 a month, and every little bit goes to the show, and we just kind of, we're going to up our production here pretty soon. We're going to be doing some other fun stuff, and that all goes to it. So, let's get to our lineup card for today. He is the VP of Content Development here at the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Angelo Trinidad. Welcome.
What's up, Baseball Brew Crew Brew-universe? It's Tuesday night. I got my cold drink in hand with some of my best buds. Can't ask for a better Tuesday night. Thank you guys for tuning in. Excited to be here. Couple shout outs before we move on with the intros. I see Ian out there in the chat. If sports cards, don't forget to tune into his YouTube channel every Monday for the top 10 sports cards polls of the week. I was very excited to see WWE on the top 10 with WWE Impeccable, and they pulled a 1-of-1 Rock card. So,
no kidding.
Autograph too?
Not autograph.
No.
Just a 1-of-1. Just a 1-of-1 parallel. It looks awesome.
Oh
wow, that's cool.
You know, The Rock would say that'd be worth a lot of money.
Yeah,
and Ian did if you smell what the Rock is cooking at the end of that segment, so it was great.
Right
on.
Next, he's the field correspondent and senior research analyst here at the Baseball Brew Crew. It is Kevin Lyon. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course, you have to say senior and put very much an emphasis on that. What are you saying? That I'm 130 years old? Actually, it's more than that, obviously.
You're an old soul. You're an old soul.
I'm definitely an old soul. There's not much young left, anywhere, a couple replacement parts here and there, maybe a young knee, maybe a young liver. We'll see.
Hey, you're walking this earth at 100 and, lost count, 60, 70 some odd years old, but your liver. You have the liver of a 500-year-old, Kevin.
Exactly. You can always get a new one.
Yeah, I can get a youngin. I can get a young liver. I'm on a list, I'm sure, somewhere. I don't say what kind of list, but I'm on a list somewhere, I'm sure.
I'm sure someone in the chat can help us find you one on the street.
Yes, exactly. Hey, maybe that's what we can do our Patreon, and we can actually get you a new liver.
Kevin's next liver.
A new tier.
Yeah.
That's my GoFundMe coming up next year.
That's the cirrhosis tier, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh my God.
Well, Cowboy Jack Durango could not be here tonight. A little under the weather, so we're putting him on.
I'm putting him on notice of what I'm doing.
Oh my
I'm
gosh!
putting him on notice, Mr. Wow, I don't feel well. Wow, Mr. Number 1 in the fantasy baseball league. Wow. Sorry. I said I have to troll him, which I will. Thank you. We do miss him.
Yes, we of course we do.
We actually do really miss him.
He is part of the crew. I think he's the would he be the W in crew, or would he be the E or the R?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I think I stumped everybody.
Yeah.
I'm Michael Mondragon, your humble host for these festivities. I also want to give a shout out. Happy birthday to Patreon supporter Greg Hall. And
happy birthday, Greg.
Yeah, right. I went to grade school with Greg, and if he is as old as I am, I'm sure he doesn't want his age out there. So happy birthday. Salud.
Don't worry.
Yeah, cheers to all of you. Cheers to Greg Hall.
Cheers. Cheers.
The winner of the first and only beer and break giveaway winner.
There you go. Exactly. Right. You might have to do another one of those soon. That'd be fun.
Oh, there's some stuff in the works. Trust me.
Hey, Angelo, would you say it's brewing?
Oh, I would. Yeah, there's definitely stuff brewing, for sure. Pun intended.
There you go. Yeah. Awesome. Well, as you know, we always bring a new and unique craft beer to review and enjoy. So let's get into it. What are we drinking tonight? I'm going to start with you, Angelo.
All right. So tonight I'm going to be drinking the last of my Oktoberfest beers. This is from Smog City Brewing Company out of Torrance, California. I'm drinking their Smogtoberfest Festival Lager. So it's a 5.5% ABV, no IBU listed, and it's described as don your finest and pull out your steins. It's Smogtoberfest time. This festival in a can is our highly drinkable take on the quintessential Oktoberfest style lager with ample malt character and clean, balanced hops. Pop open a Smogtoberfest and let the celebrations begin.
Oh, hell yeah.
What?
Yeah, Smog City has some fantastic beers, and I mean, you can find a lot of this now in LA and now Orange County, and but I have not seen this one in particular. So
Trader Joe's special.
Trader Joe's.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I found we have a Trader Joe's by where I live, but like I keep on trying to find them out when I'm out, so I can possibly get ones that I wouldn't get around here. So I may look into this too. That's probably why I would never see this. So it's just not
Trader
right there.
Joe's almost regularly has something from Smog City, at least down here in Orange County. So I would assume it's the same thing.
I'd gotten I drink another Smog City Brewing Company beer. I mean, I don't even know what episode it was, but I did have one. I did find that at Trader Joe's. Right. But don't sleep on Trader Joe's if you want to try to find craft beer. If you have a Trader Joe's near you, you can build your own 6-pack, or you can just buy single cans. So
that's exactly what I was going to ask you, and that's one of the things I always forget about, that you can do that. So
and it's affordable. It's
affordable, and there's like a single can section, but you can just grab a beer off of a whatever it's called, 6-pack or 4-pack. And then they'll just put the remaining 3 or 5 in the single can. So don't be afraid to do that if there's something you see that you want to try.
I only don't because I'll see the actual package. I have to actually open the package and take
the package. I won't do.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that seems a little weird.
But the 6-pack thing or the pop tops. Yeah, I'll move it over, or a 6-pack that's in a cardboard 6-pack with the bottles. So. But yeah,
and then I get mad because I grab one, it's a 5-pack, and I'm like, "Where's the 6 can?"
Right.
And I'm like,
that's kind of weird though. I mean, don't they have do they have 4-packs there too?
They do. They have 4 and 6-packs.
It's going to depend on what the brewery is. Like a 6-pack would be like Pizza Port. We talk about. I know I've talked about that's a great deal over there at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, got it.
6-pack. They had a new one too. I'll have to get next.
Yeah, it's a great way to try stuff out, and if you're planning on gifting some folks some craft beer, wink, wink. It's a great way to get a nice sampler over to us here at the Baseball Brew Crew.
Exactly.
PO box. No, I'm just kidding.
It's the beer baseball. The Baseball Brew Crew does not ask you to send us beer from across the state border, please. That is not legal.
Exactly.
That is not legal. You're absolutely right.
And support the Patreon. We promise to put it into our craft beer research.
There you go.
But if you want to send baseball cards to myself, no, I'm just
there you go. Now we're truly panhandling.
Boy, where's our Amazon wish list? Is that going to be coming up next?
Well, that's actually those cards are they're an investment. It's there's a lot of money that goes into that. So it's you can't find too many deals these days on cards.
I'm just trying to get on If Sports Cards top 10 polls. I mean,
there you go. Oh,
that's my goal.
There you go. Perfect. All right, so Kevin, tell us about this one. This is actually Kevin and I have the same beer tonight, and it's from breweries that we love. A collab.
It's like the Super Friend powers, coming together here, because we pretty much, everyone who knows me knows pretty much I live at Radiant Beer. I don't live there, really. I don't live there.
Not
I
yet.
live close to there, but I don't actually live there. But my local favorite brewery is Radiant Beer, obviously in Anaheim, California. But then it turns out they had a collaboration coming out with Michael's arguably favorite brewery, Highland Park Brewery out of LA.
Yep.
They have a location in the Chinatown area of Los Angeles, right across the street from the Chinatown train station. You can actually walk. It's a little bit of a walk, but you can walk to Dodger Stadium from there if you really want to. Feel adventurous. And it's a great spot. So they came together. It's just like peanut butter and jelly. Yeah, chocolate peanut butter. Let me give you I'm going to use all peanut butter analogies for some reason. But it's a new beer that just came out on Thursday called Happens All the Time. Michael was in town, so he's like, let's go try this. And we were just like, it's a West Coast IPA, so Michael's in love already. Yeah. And it looks like they had Michael Mondragon Disco Machine in mind with those disco balls on the can artwork. You got to love that.
Late Disco Machine. An homage to the the former NWA Cruiserweight champion, I think.
Look at me. I was an NWA Cruiserweight champion. Wow.
It was very cool.
I miss hearing that song. I'll tell you what. I have to listen to it from time to time.
I might have to just put the little clip of the dan.
Make you that would pop me so big.
Sure. So this is called Happens All the Time. It's a West Coast IPA coming at 7.2, no IBU listed. I'll read here what it says on the can. It's a dance party for your mind and your mouth. And while this collab may not be one that actually happens all the time, it's one we certainly enjoyed making with Citra, Nelson Sauvin, and HBC 630 hops and Present Company. One thing I like on here, on the bottom, it says canned fresh the week of October 17th, 2022.
Wow.
Nice. So there you go. We got this on Thursday, which would have been, was it the 17th? No,
the 20th. The
20th. 17th would have been Monday. Yeah. Just got that Monday now on that Thursday. And I believe you can, if you're in the LA area, you can get this on draft at Highland Park Brewery in the LA area. I don't know if you can buy cans up there, but I am aware that it's on draft up there. And I was on draft at Radiant. And I did hear, apparently this is not the only collab they're doing.
Oh, nice. That's fantastic. Yeah. Obviously, breweries that we're super fond of. So, I mean, it's like, it's literally, you can taste both breweries in this beer. It's that at least distinct for me. Yes. But and it's very reminiscent of like that West Coast IPA that we love so much. It's just, it's almost like fruitful flavored, that it's so like just smooth hoppy. It's so good. And just, lush is a word that
and Michael, to add to your love of Highland Park Brewery, I don't think you said it on the show. You mentioned in a Twitter post. Why don't you talk about what happened the last time you went to Highland Park?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you follow our Twitter, I put it up there, but I'll put it on our Instagram. So the number that I had for my food order was 40. And they put a little like sign down that said like 40 on it. But I noticed that they cut out like a head, and it was like it was from like a baseball card or something like that. And it had like a Detroit hat on it. I'm like, oh my gosh, like who's this? And it was Daryl Evans, So my number was 40, and then Darrell Evans, his head was in the 0. And I go, I'm going to be a super baseball nerd, because if his number is 40 for Detroit, blows my mind that someone had the foresight to do that, right? Mm-hmm. But I was unfortunately, I found out that he's actually 41 for Detroit. Mm-hmm. And so, like a true Karen, I summoned over the manager to complain.
You channeled your ex-wife? What?
I did not. I called my ex-wife. No. But I summoned the guy over. I said, like, I told him that it was, actually Darrell Evans was 41, not 40. And he goes, "Oh, so close."
and then as a rib, I'm like, oh, let me hashtag do the research. And I love it, because I did find out that he was the major league leader in home runs in 1985 with how many home runs, Michael Mondragon?
40, which is actually even a deeper cut. And if that was the true meaning of 40, then all is forgiven. And
you know what? Let's just say it is. You know what? Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
It's pretty awesome though. It was a kind of a fun little moment there that I was totally diverted.
And that's a fun little baseball thing. We always love when you get a little baseball thing at the breweries, and they obviously also, I've had on the show before, the baseball lager they have out as well.
Right, exactly.
And they're one of several breweries that do LA Dodger like themed shirts to tie with their breweries.
Yeah. There's
using like the colors and like similar fonts right out, like Highland Park or whatever.
Yeah. So great beer, Radiant, Highland Park. Please support both of those. Support craft beer and get out there and
wherever you are, support your local brewery if you can near your legal age.
That's right. And look for that little symbol right there, that little upside down bottle. Or there.
Yeah. It's on the picture there. There it is. I see it on the slide.
Okay, yeah.
On the slide.
It's over there. So yeah. So let me do this really quickly. Bear with me for just 1 second. All right, so let's get into it. Let's do this day in baseball history for October 25th. Are you ready, Kevin? Are you ready, Angelo?
Oh, ready. Of course. I know that guy.
Yeah.
I know the guy. That's me in the 4th row on the left there.
That's you taking the picture behind Jolt and Joe.
I just I can't, but is this a real photo? Because it looks like,
no, okay. So
it's like, how did the guy get this much of a close up?
Before we start, I want to make mention of that. So he's taking a full swing, right? Look at the umpire and look at the catcher.
Yeah.
There's no pitch being thrown right here. Yeah, and the photographer there, and that's where they used to stand during these times. He does not. He looks like ready to take a picture. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is a composite or not. But I seem to think it might be. But
it might be for an ad or something. Because I'm just like, I'm like, this can't be during an actual game.
Exactly.
It's amazing photo. That's why I was just like, he's like 6 inches. He's like a foot away.
It's almost too good. October 25th, 1939, with 15 of 24 first place votes cast by the writers, Yankee outfielder Joe DiMaggio wins his first American League MVP, easily outdistancing runners-up Jimmy Fox and Bob Feller. The 24-year-old All-Star who posted a major league leading 381 batting average will also capture the prestigious prize in 1941 and 1947.
Oh yeah.
Unbelievable.
Did he serve in World War II? I believe he did, right?
Right.
Okay, I was going to say, a 6-year gap there, yeah.
Yeah, so these guys had military service so they could have been like even better,
It's kind of insane just thinking about like what I'd like. If I had time, I'd like to do more of a deep dive to see what baseball was like between the 42, 43, 44, and 45 season, where it's just like all the major stars pretty much are not in baseball.
Right.
They're in the military.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
We'll give us the analysis you were there.
Happening? But yeah, I know. I mean, I just got to find it in my memory banks. There's a lot of livers, a lot of dead brain cells.
Just look at your traveling journal you used to have. Just go back in those pages.
There's a lot of journals. There's a lot of traveling journals there.
He has a stone tablet.
Yes,
he has a word press.
Feather pens.
Yeah, feather pen. He has it all. It's an eclectic collection.
October
card.
25th, 1955, the Indians trade Larry Doby, the first black player to play in the American League, to the White Sox for Chico Carrascal and Jim Busby, the future Hall of Fame outfielder who will hit 275 in his 2 seasons in Chicago, will return to the Indians in 1958. And I love these cards. These cards are so cool.
awesome.
This is a Bowman. Is it that year? 55?
It is a 55 Bowman.
Yeah. That's such a cool idea. Just in the color. I'm like, how much color TVs were there even in 1955? There was not that many.
That's insane.
There really wasn't that many.
Yeah. It was like, that was like the gimmick of those years.
Yeah.
It's like the iPhone. You could say 2007. It's like, that's like changed everything.
Yeah, because TV really started to become a thing about 5 years earlier. I was like, there was already color TV in 55. You think I remember? I would have had one in 55, but I didn't.
Well, you were rich too back then. Wow.
No, I said I didn't have a color TV.
Oh, you didn't have a color TV.
No, I only had a black and white, like these poor peasants. I didn't have money like Mr. Doby here. Mr. had to make a healthy living.
October 25th, 1960, Gabe Paul announces his decision to leave the Reds to become the general manager of the Colt 45s, an expansion team scheduled to play in 1962. They would eventually become the Houston Astros. After clashing with majority owner Roy Hofheinz, the experienced baseball executive will leave Houston nearly a year before the team plays an official game. Now, that's kind of a boring story, right? So it's like, hey, so this guy leaves to be the general manager of the Houston Colt 45s. Now, I love I wish they would actually keep this and actually go back to it, like during like the retro.
Much like, I'm sorry to talk another sport, but I'd love for the Washington Wizards to be the Washington Bullets.
Exactly, yeah, and that would be amazing. And they should, because it's part of their history. But I mean, I understand why it all.
Well, it's like you're never gonna get Cleveland Indians retro night anymore,
right? Yes, exactly.
But well, where are you going with this? Oh,
I'm with you, Kev.
Okay, I was like, oh no, Michael Mondragon froze on us. I'm waiting for him to transition into where we go from the Houston Colt 45s, because his story was the team started 62 and he left before 1962. So I'm like, oh no, wow, he's just frozen. Oh, he's frozen. He's angry. Now I'm like trying to think, like the Colt 45s only lasted, so by 66 I believe the Astro was open, so they would have only been around for about 4 or 5 years as the Colt 45s. Probably the best player that they would have had would have been Joe Morgan, starting his career there, and then he ended up joining the Big Red Machine after that. And Michael Mondragon, look at that disdain, look at that. Oh man, hopefully he's all right.
So
no. Show's over, folks. I was thinking in my head, am I jinxing it by thinking in my head that it's going so much smoother than last week? It
was a little bit, yeah. Let's see.
But you know what I think about
Colt
when
45s. Let's see here.
Hey, but I can tell you one thing. When you think about Colt 45s, there's only one thing you need to know. You need to know Billy D. Williams loves a Colt 45.
Oh yeah.
Well, Kevin, ask and you shall receive, because that was exactly where I was going to go with all this.
Great.
I thought it would be more of the story first, but
So the only reason why I brought up this dumb little story was to, of course, talk about Colt 45. It works every time.
Yes, it does.
And
yes, it does.
And it's pretty well known that Lando Calrissian Billy D. Williams is famous for these commercials. But when I did the research, I actually found another person who is actually synonymous with Colt 45, which I didn't know.
the dull and commonplace occurrences of day-to-day living, one thing stands out as a completely unique experience. Colt 45 malt liquor.
Sorry I'm late. I took the shortcut.
So good. So good.
I was like, I need to know what it says on the car, and I finally saw at the end, Red Sled. I'm like, so good. Red Sled. Oh my gosh. I don't think, just in case, you think people might not know, people might not know who that was. Younger folks may not know. I knew that. Yeah. I knew Ed Brown would pop for that.
Yes. I wasn't aware that the late great comedian Red Fox was also a Colt 45 spokesman. And it wasn't the only commercial he did either. There was a whole bunch of other ones. And yeah, his Dukes of Hazzard with James Bond. The 70s was all about that. It was all about, like, you know, if you think about like Chips or you know, any of those things, it was all about these car crashes and all that stuff. And I remember even going to like I remember like figure 8 tracks and little short tracks and stuff like that.
And then you had, like, you know, a lot of car chase movies and stuff. You know, you had Smokey and the Bandit, and you had you know, all Hooper, like all these Burt Reynolds films that definitely were playing to those car things for sure, the car racing themes.
Yes, exactly. Angelo, any recollections, any remembrances of the late great Red Fox from you? Anything?
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean, I knew who that was automatically, like when you played it, so that's great. And yeah, I mean, definitely familiar with Red Fox, and didn't know that he was affiliated or associated or promoting Colt 45. But I mean, it makes total and complete sense.
Yes. Oh my God. Totally. And I'm surprised that isn't played up more as well. And just to see that and is like you know, when he was on Sanford, said that little heart attack gimmick when he came out of the car was amazing. Yes, he was a gift to at least to us, and for sure for all humanity. Yeah, Demolition Derby. That's right. Like in talked about before, the Malachi Crunch when they had the Demolition Derby. So everything was about car crashes and yeah, it's crazy. There's so and really good, like in Bullet, the movie Bullet. Oh yeah, they're going through San Francisco.
Yeah, I that would have been, I think, the late 60s ish. I'm sure Ed would know the more time. That's true. Yeah, but that was famous for a famous car chase scene. And going all throughout San Francisco, and it's apparently, like, I don't know if they had permits for it. I know in French Connection, another movie from like this or like 70-ish,
French Connection,
there was a famous car chase there where I don't think they had any permits. They just filmed it and did it, which I'm like,
oh wow, how crazy!
Real filmmaking, yeah.
Yes. What about the Malachi Crunch?
What about Steve McQueen and Gene Hackman? What's that got to do with baseball?
It doesn't, but it does.
But we're talking about beer.
That's right. We're talking about beer.
Exactly. So it does come around.
All right.
And you know what else, Michael? It works every time.
It works every time. October 25th, 1981, in Game 5 at Dodger Stadium, Pedro Guerrero and Steve Yeager's back-to-back solo home runs in the 7th inning off Yankee southpaw Ron Guidry give Los Angeles a 2-1 win and the 3rd victory in the Fall Classic. Guerrero, Yeager, along with teammate Ron Say, will be named co-recipients of the World Series MVP award. So 3 people were the award winners. What was the only other time when 2 or more people got the MVP?
It was 2.
Yes,
and it was it McGuire and Canseco?
No, you're super close, but it was Arizona Diamondbacks, Schilling and Randy Johnson.
Oh, in 2001.
Yep. So this was
I believe Steve Yeager is a movie star, by the way. Was he in Major League or Naked Gun or both? I don't remember which those movies
he was in Naked Gun for sure.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. I was thinking he was also, he probably did some work. He might have been like Behringer's like stunt catcher or something like that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have been surprised if he did that.
Yeah.
But Pedro Guerrero.
And
then you got the Penguin, Ron Say.
Yeah. And and then actually he was actually a Cardinal at one point, Pedro Guerrero. Yeah, and no one remembers.
I don't want to remember. It's fine. It's fine.
October 25th, 1986, a day that will live in infamy. One strike from defeat, the Mets tied the game on a wild pitch, and then thanks to a Bill Buckner error on a slow squibber by Mookie Wilson, they win Game 6, knotting the World Series at 3 games apiece. The hobbled first baseman becomes the scapegoat for frustrated Red Sox fans who wrongly believe this play was responsible for Boston's demise. He was awesome during this World Series. They eventually forgave him once they won a couple more World Series, but yeah, he was a great player. Mookie Wilson and could have hit it better down the first baseline. Yeah. Also, I think if you look at this, I think it would have been even a close play at first. You know, Bob Stanley looks a little little behind right there.
Well, I mean, Bob Stanley was not the swiftest on his feet either.
No, he was not. He was not. This will not be the last time you see Mookie Wilson in here. Yeah.
Can I please? I need to step back. I need to give you some Steve Yeager fun facts.
Oh,
all right. I'm going to go back to Steve Yeager, please. All right. Let me tell you about Steve Yeager from hashtag. I just, hashtag do the research. So Yeager served as a technical advisor, and he played a small role as coach Duke Temple in all 3 of the major league films.
Oh, okay.
In September 1979, this is what I look up on YouTube. He and his family appeared on an episode of Family Feud. They played for a total of 6 days. That's pretty impressive. 6 days, yeah. And to close it out, in 1982, Yeager posed semi-nude in a Playgirl magazine.
You know, I had a little knowledge of that, but I didn't know if it was real or fake. And I was like, I thought it was one of those things.
Wikipedia, so it may not be accurate, but still, it's a fun.
I had heard something like that, but of course, I'm not gonna do the research.
Does he pose nude with his World Series MVP trophy in front of him?
I think
it's like
Burt Reynolds thing probably that he did as well. That was popular with but also Steve Yeager, something that people don't realize, he invented that. They used to have I think it was called like a yoke, and it used to hang down underneath the chin of the catcher's mask, and it used to dangle. He invented that.
Oh wow!
I didn't see that.
And they went away from that actually when the mascot, they almost have like hockey masks now. But he got hit in the throat, and he invented that thing so he wouldn't get hit in the throat. It was like a little thing, because I remember when I was playing baseball, catcher we used to carry the mask with that. You know, it was it was dangling, so we just carry it and then flip it on our head. You know, but Steve Yeager invented that.
Oh, that's cool.
So if Cowboy Jack is at home, he's probably Googling right now, Playgirl Steve Yeager. See what comes up. You know? Hashtag do the research. I'm not doing
yes. He October 25th, 2000, Mike Piazza becomes the first player to hit a World Series home run at Yankee Stadium and Shea Stadium.
In the year 2000.
So good.
His 3rd inning home run off Denny Nagel at Shea Stadium will account for the only 2 runs the Mets will score in a 3-2 Game 4 defeat. So as I was doing the research on this one, because like the big thing during that World Series was Clemens. He threw the bat at him. So, but I had to go back. I go, there has to be like a history. So this is in June of 2000 that year. Mike Piazza was crushing the Yankees. And here he is hitting a grand slam in June off of Clemens. And he was ripping it up that year. And then Clemens goes,
Oh,
no more. So yeah, in July, like hit him in the head.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure that out because I'm like, they always would play in opposite leagues because Clemens, until he was an Astro, never played in the National League. I'm like, yeah, he had an interleague play.
He Clemens was with Toronto though.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is that.
Oh, you're saying them against each other?
Yes, them against each other. I was saying, he was on American League teams, and Piazza was always on National League teams. I don't think Piazza ever played in the American League, so their paths would never cross at all until like interleague plays. That's what I was like.
Gotcha. Right. And it was
the background heat.
Totally, and so obviously, it was in game 2 in the early innings. There was a shattered bat, and then. The crazy thing is that Clemens came up and got the actual bat that came near him, and he threw it, and when it just crossed the path of Piazza, and Clemens claims that he thought it was the ball. He still claims it to this day. Like
I need Jackie laugh. Yeah, seriously. What? One.
Yeah, so
what a worker.
So in this game, Clemens actually pitched 8 innings, and Piazza hit the home run in the 9th off Jeff Nelson. But this was a big deal. Look who's in the middle of the action right there on the right.
Oh, there he is.
Wilson. Uh-oh. Yeah, Mookie Wilson was a first base coach for the Mets that 2000.
And think about this, like pitchers going that long in playoffs even now is rare. And, Roger Clemens is like 15 years into his career at this point, I think. He came up, I believe, in 84, 85. Near 2000 was just like a Met. He's still pitching incredible. Yeah. And he's never going to be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't. God, what do you think? It's so weird. Like I don't even say that anymore because I'm like, I
should say never because Veterans Committee I think are going to put some of these guys.
That's the only thing I can think of how they
Veterans Committee in another decade or two are going to put some of these guys in and they're just going to deal with the heat. You know?
Yeah.
Who knows that heat might dissipate over the next 2 decades with some of these guys.
Yep.
I mean, Pete Rose can't get in, and they're opening, a sports betting thing at the Reds where the Reds play. I like at the Great American Ballpark. It's like what?
Yes. Oh, I go exactly. So
yeah, everyone's bringing that up. Everyone's bringing up that hypocrisy because in the end, money wins. Of course, it's a business.
100%. All right. So October 25th, 2005, Mark Burley becomes the first pitcher to start and save consecutive World Series games. After receiving a no decision in Game 2, the 26-year-old left-hander gets the final out in the 14-inning game of Game 3 to record the save as the White Sox beat the Astros 7-5. And this is like this now. It's like commonplace to have like starting pitchers as your closers.
Yeah, I mean, in the playoffs for sure, the World Series
for sure, yeah.
Because you went to the famous game where Nathan Eovaldi pitched like 8 or 9 innings out of relief.
Yeah, he pitched a full game in relief
in that famous 2018 game, right?
Yeah,
right year 2018. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you got to see 2 games for the price of 1.
I did. And I had to remind someone recently that they had 2 7th inning stretches.
Yes.
They had a 7th inning stretch in the 14th inning. I think that is pretty cool.
They do that because I was at an Angels game against the Red Sox that went 17 or 18 innings. And
was that the same one I was at?
There too. That's cool.
They did the same game I was.
Yeah, that's Albert hit the walk-off.
Yep, that was the longest game ever in Angel Stadium.
Oh, wow.
And we were both there. Yeah. We knew. I stayed till the end.
I'm sure you guys didn't see each other at the end. You guys probably like the last ones there.
There was by the end of it, there was like less than 1,000 people.
There was not a lot of people there. Yeah. And I was with a couple who had never been to a game before, and they just thought this was normal. And they thought this was a normal thing. It's like, no, this is like the longest game ever at this stadium, and you're here.
Yeah. So funny story about that too. So I went with my old roommate, and she ended up like she wanted to leave, and I was like, I'm not leaving. Like, so she had to have someone else come pick her up.
Oh wow, okay.
Because I drove, yeah.
This is like was it 2014? I think it was the year.
Yeah, because it was the year I was a season ticket holder, so 2014. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the year the last time they made the playoffs.
Yeah, no,
I think that was the year. I might be a little off.
October 25th, 2009, Yusei Kikuchi, who had interest scouts from the Yankees and 9 other clubs, decides not to entertain offers from an American major league team, opting to start his professional career in Japan. The 18-year-old player would have been the first Japanese high school student to come to the U.S. to play baseball.
Wow.
That's crazy. And he wound up.
When he come over? Well,
he made his pro debut for the Saitama Seibu Lions in 2011, but his major league debut was March 21st, 2019 for Seattle.
Yeah, I knew it was Seattle. Because he's on another team now, am I correct?
He's on Toronto.
Toronto, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
But that would have been amazing but you know what? The way that they do baseball, he might not even made the major leagues.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
Yeah, because that was way too young. Yeah, they like to develop.
Yeah, I mean, there are minor leagues, but I doubt it's as extensive as here in the U.S. But one thing that's gigantic over there in Japan, though, is high school baseball. Yeah. Like the high school national championships is on national television. Like it is a huge event.
Yeah,
you know, it's amazing when you just see like photos in the media, just looking at it every year. It's like, oh my gosh, this is nuts. That hardly any you have to be a hardcore baseball fan to really know about it.
Yeah, and I don't know where it's at. There's a documentary. I saw it on actually Major League Baseball Network, and it was only played once. And it was Koshien, I think it's called. It's about the Japanese baseball, that whole tournament. And they follow one team, and it's super, it's so amazing. I highly recommend going out of your way to find it. Yeah, I don't know where it's at actually. It was hard to find at the time, but I don't know where it is now. But
research.
Yes, definitely worth definitely looking up. All right. So that is this week, this day in baseball, excuse me. So let's get into baseball trivia. Tell me when you have that thing, Kevin.
I'm looking right now. I mean, shoot, I'm only seeing trailers for it.
Yeah.
So it's called Toshin, Japan's Field of Dreams.
Yep.
And I was hoping, because if you usually look up a movie on your phone, one of the things will say, watch.
Where you can see it.
Where can I watch it? Let's see. You can buy it on iTunes or Amazon Instant Video.
Okay, good. I go out of your way to get it. It's so amazing. It's shot beautifully.
It's on iTunes for $4 in HD or I'm sorry, $4.
Yeah,
on there.
It's super
about
it's great.
Amazon, but I'll look it up. I have to take the research.
Funny side story too. I wanted to bookmark this video of Roger Clemens throwing the bat at Mike Piazza. When you search in YouTube, Roger Clemens, you know how it pre-populates like the suggested searches? Yeah. The first one is Roger Clemens highlights. The second one is Roger Clemens throws bat at Mike Piazza.
There you go. Yep. There you go.
It's like one of the most famous things he's ever done.
Yeah.
Well, he's one of the greatest pitchers of all time, and that's still the number one individual thing mentioned is him throwing the bat at the guy.
Yeah.
Like he numbskull.
It's like 354 wins or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nuts.
And the video has 1.3 million views on MLB's YouTube channel.
Yes, sir.
Yep. All right, so let's do some baseball trivia. Let's test your knowledge of baseball history, and we want to hear you in the chat. Tell us what you think the answers are. So let's go with question 1. Since Houston and Philadelphia are in the World Series, we're going to go with Houston first. So who is the Houston Astros all-time home run leader?
Ooh.
And your choices are, is it Glenn Davis? Is it Craig Biggio?
Glenn Davis.
Is it
Lance
Lance
the first thing that came to
Berkman?
my head if in the 80s.
Is it George Springer, Jeff Bagwell, or Jim Wynn? So George Springer is actually the first World Series MVP for the Astros.
I forgot that they made the World Series in 2005. You mentioned it against the White Sox.
Yeah, that was their first one.
Yeah. They were not a very good team until most of their career,
Yeah, that was the Killer Bees with Bagwell, Berkman, BIGGIO. Chad M going with Bagwell.
Michael, this might be where you can put in your little I don't want you to replace this because I love it because it's the game, but if you did the opening to your disco machine theme there, you might make it work. But don't replace it, please.
Okay. All right. So only one person in chat. Chad, I'm going with Jeff Bagwell. Who are you going with, Angelo?
I'm going to agree with Chad M, our early investor in the Then Beer Baseball blog, and go with Jeff Buff the Stuff, and the girls just can't get enough. Bagwell. Boom.
Good job. You went. I'm glad you did that because now you went further. I would have remembered all that.
Yeah, you did. I need a stovepipe, like a stovepipe hat.
Yeah,
he had all airbrushed.
He has a new gimmick, by the way, too. If you guys haven't seen it, it's great. He has a Mr. Rogers gimmick. Mr. Bagwell's Neighborhood. It's worth the YouTube view. I promise you.
No. Oh no.
I remember. On a side note, we saw Buff Bagwell. Well, it wasn't Buff Bagwell. Was he? I think he was still in the American Males at the time, and we saw him in WCW. And we had it was when I had the Tom Zenk incident. So later in that show,
that was before the American Males. He was American Males. That was like Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Okay, so then was
pre Too Cold Scorpio. Yeah,
it was close in there, wherever it was, right? And
that's when he was like the rookie Alexander.
And the one thing that it was kind of the insider thing we knew about Mark Bagwell was that he had calf implants, and they they went bad, and so he had to have them removed. And so my buddy was like, "Hey, nice calves."
Oh no,
so good.
That's when it was Marcus Alexander Bagwell.
Yeah.
Not the handsome stranger, Michael.
Not the handsome stranger.
It's really deep cut at you, I agree with Chad M. By the way,
Lance, you go with Jeff Bagwell.
No, I agree with Chad M. about what he just said about Buff Bagwell.
Oh, I didn't see that in there. Yes.
I saw right now. I was like, because Tuchel was like my favorite guy in WCW back in those days.
I was a fan of Bagwell and the Patriot of Stars and Stripes too.
Oh, that's a good one.
There you go.
That's a good one.
I can't agree with everybody because I'm going to be Jeff Bagwell. I don't want to agree. So, who would be my next choice? Let's go with the other Hall of Fame. Let's go with Craig Biggio.
Craig Biggio. I'm surprised you don't like the American Males. American Males.
Best theme song ever.
American Males. American.
Well, I mean, I wish we had Billy. What was that guy's name? I would say Billie Jean Riggs, but that's not his name.
Scotty Riggs.
Scotty Riggs. No, I was thinking of like the tennis player who played
Bobby
Jean King. Bobby Riggs. Why have Bobby Riggs not choice here? Because that was at the Astrodome to tie back to Houston.
There you go. It all goes back to Houston. Well, the answer is that's right, Jeff Bagwell, 449. I was actually surprised to see Lance Berkman so high here. And Craig Biggio actually has 3,000 hits, but does not only has 291. Actually, and I think he's the major league leader in being hit by pitch as well.
Craig Biggio?
Yep.
So he passed Don Baylor because I knew Don Baylor used to be first.
Yes, he did. Yep.
And hey, can we give a cheers to the man at the bottom of this list? Because I know you put him in there on purpose. Man of 139. Mr. Bob Watson. Cheers, Bob Watson.
Yes. And actually, he would have been higher, but Alex Bregman, I think, probably hit home runs this year. So he passed him.
Yeah.
So
Hey, well, thank you for including Mr. Bob Watson.
Had to.
I know you did.
Mr. 1 million Tootsie Rolls himself.
Yep.
Let them play.
Let them
Yeah,
play.
let them play.
All right. Question number 2.
Uh-oh.
Who was the 1980 World Series MVP for the Philadelphia Phillies?
I gotta know this one. I think I know it.
Kevin going a little Kruskin right there.
I am because I'm gonna go way back. Before VHS, there was a thing called the video disc player. Are you aware? Are you aware of what this is, Michael Mondragon?
I wasn't rich enough to have one, but I know of it.
Apparently, my family was. So literally, it was shaped like a record, and it was a movie. You put it in the machine.
It was like a big compact disc.
It was like Laserdisc. You know what Laserdisc is? It's like that, but it's a record. You put it in one side. After about an hour, you have to take it out and flip it over to finish it.
Yes.
So one that I had was about the 1980 World Series. So you think I should know who this is, and I think I know. But
all right.
Hey,
I'm putting you on the spot.
Here.
Putting you on the spot.
Is this
you gotta have
I'm gonna pick? You like that one?
Oh, I know that one. I know that one.
Is he on the list?
He is on the list.
Yes.
Your choices are Pete Rose, Manny Trio, Bob Boone, Mike Schmidt, Lefty, Steve Carlton, or Tug McGraw. 1980.
They beat the Kansas City Royals.
That's right.
Featuring George Brett behind me. After his greatest season of his entire career. But is this the year where he missed a game because of hemorrhoids?
It's very possible. It was during this era. Yeah.
I think it was 38.
Or it might have been the playoffs, but I don't think it was the World Series, though. But it might have been for all I know.
I think it was a playoff game he missed because his hemorrhoids were so bad.
Yeah.
He couldn't play. Poor guy.
He had to stand to watch the game.
Oh, no.
Poor guy.
What happens if I do the research on George Brett hemorrhoids? What do you think is going to come up?
A
Patreon page.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a good one. Yeah.
No, I shouldn't have my phone in my hand doing this. You know my answer already, Michael, because I did that for you.
Okay.
I don't know if that's it, but I'm going to just stick with it anyway. Why not? George Brett, hemorrhoids. Oh, man. I see World Series popping up. Oh, no. The first thing that comes up on a website called inxmedical.com, the headline says, Kansas City Royals, George Brett, the hemorrhoids guy.
The hemorrhoids guy. Wow. And these days it was be for the YouTube video. So he's had a lot of trouble back there.
Oh man, no kidding. God, this writing is terrible. Like, God, I can't even read this. He was forced to leave the field during the 6th inning of Game 2 due to experiencing extreme hemorrhoid pain.
Ooh.
The following day, this is a World Series. He had to go minor surgery to have his hemorrhoids removed so he can return to the field to finish out the World Series.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So he actually he left Game 2 and came back at Game 3. He came back after the surgery. And his team still didn't win. So.
Yeah. That could have been a turning point right there.
Yeah, no kidding.
So who do you got?
Angelo, who do you got?
I'm gonna go with 4, Mike Schmidt.
Yeah, Chad M going with Mike Schmidt as well.
I was doing this, but you know what? The name that came to my head though was Bob Boone. So I'm gonna go with Bob Boone.
Okay.
That's my memory telling me. I was just doing this guy thinking Tom McGraw.
Yeah.
Calling himself after he smoked some grass.
And the answer, yes. And the answer is, it is Mike Schmidt.
All right.
2 for 2, baby. Let's go.
There you go. Nicely done.
And the Phils are in the World Series, so we got to shout out Syndergaard and Brandon Marsh. They went from leading the AL West early on in the season to a 14-game losing streak and getting traded, and now in the World Series. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not all bad.
Definitely sounds like a thing the Angels would do for sure.
Oh, only in baseball, right? Could you be like on a last place team and then and slumming it up, and then all of a sudden you're in the World Series? What a turnaround! That's awesome.
And I was reading a thing about there's a player that is going to get a World Series ring no matter who wins because he had tenure on both teams.
Wow.
There were 3 teams he was on. I can't remember who it was.
Wow.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure who that would be.
So do you have the SCHMIT numbers for that World Series? You think like I said, my brain.
Oh yeah. I didn't get it because I was actually diverted by this one because we were talking about Mike Piazza before, and this that picture with Mike SCHMIT and Mike Piazza right there, and then he's with Tug McGraw right there.
Oh, that's fantastic. Who's the other person in the photo?
That's a good question. It didn't say, but
is it like a Piazza brother maybe?
Yeah, it very.
I mean, the Mike SCHMIT photo is one of the greatest.
Mike SCHMIT, and it's funny because like I just color corrected this slightly, but as you can see here, he's almost got that kind of like raccoon eyes, where it's actually it looks like he's got a little bit of sun, but it looks like he's actually been up for like 4 days. Yeah. And like this picture, I can tell that it's 1976. Do you know how I know that?
Oh, because of the
Liberty Bell patch right there.
Nice
that
job.
That was
nice job.
That's the only reason why I know it's 1976.
Yeah, because it's 200 years, and it was about my 100
bicentennial. So. That was like a big deal.
And it was my centennial year, I think, that year.
Yep.
That was your 100 years, let alone 200.
Well, that is the show we had for you. I did want to tell you about our Patreon. If you want to support us, go to patreon.com/beerbaseball. But Angelo, tell us about this.
All right. This upcoming Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, premiering on our YouTube channel, is a new episode of Rip and Review with myself, where I open up some baseball cards and kind of review the product. So tune in for a new episode this week. I got some great product lined up here over the next couple weeks. And I'll be doing a Rip and Review segment coming up here in a couple weeks on this show. So really excited to be able to showcase that. So stay tuned for that.
Right on.
Can I say what the show is for you, Angelo?
Yes. So
how about this, Kevin?
Yes. Rip and Review with Angelo Trinidad. There you go.
There you go. Proper introduction.
All right, let's hear it for him.
This is where we are on all the socials: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, and Jackie Martlin's favorite, TikTok. Kevin, do you have anything going on?
Maybe. I didn't do Rip Review last week. I'll try to do one Thursday. And the Mr. Number 1 in the Fantasy Baseball League. Hazy History has just not been a good month for us, apparently. So I'll see how he is doing and shoot for a return on Sunday.
Yeah.
Or is next week when we're doing Hazy History.
Maybe so. Maybe we'll just have it. Maybe we can have
we'll just do it then, because apparently Fidel Castro is hexing me from beyond the grave. Fidel Castro.
I think he was doing that to all of the U.S. We'll get him. We'll get him next time.
I'll get him next year. But thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out on a Tuesday. We appreciate it always. We will see you next Tuesday with another Baseball Brew Crew podcast. Take care, everyone. Good night.